Okay, guys, this is a review for the test for tomorrow. Most of these questions are super easy, like problem number 1, where you would put all the equations in Desmos and see which one matches this graph, right? So you're going to type these in Desmos and see which one matches. Same thing for problem number 3. You would add a table. So you use the little plus button in Desmos, you add the table, and you see which one of these goes through all those points. So you would write them all in y equals. You can say y equals negative x plus 1, y equals 0.8x plus 1, y equals x plus 1, and y equals negative 0.8x plus 1. Those of you who forgot how to add a table, you go to Desmos and you hit the little plus button and you add the table. So that's where you put all your numbers. Okay, I'm not going to do that for you. Those are super easy. These 3, you need to look for keywords. Like problem number 2, keywords like receding means that the water is going down, va bajando. 0.5 per day, that means that's the one that has the letter. Problem number 5, it says that each box has 12 pencils. So that's going to be the one with the X, right? And then it says that Ms. Bruce gave 3 pencils away from one of the boxes. Okay, so if you give something away, is that adding or subtracting? Subtracting, so it's going to be minus, right? Okay, up here, this one's a little bit tricky, so pay attention. On number 4, it says that an organization has a monthly budget of X dollars. So think about this. You have X amount of money, right? That's your budget. From that budget, every month, they take 1,500 for salaries. So from here, from this money, they're going to take away 1,500 to pay people. That's salaries to pay. Okay? Then if you continue reading, it says 1/3 of the remaining budget. So after you subtract this, 1/3. So if you divide by 3, that is spent on monthly activities. So that's why this one was a little bit hard, because you have to, it's like going forwards and backwards and thinking about what's going on. You started with X amount of money, you pay people 1,500 every month, and from the remaining, what you have left over, 1/3 of it, and 1/3 is divided by 3. There's a invisible one in the front. 1/3 of it is spent on monthly activities. So they want to know how much is spent on the monthly activities. The answer would be A. Okay, this one was a little bit harder than the rest of them. The next page. The easy ones are problem number 6, because you're going to add a table in Desmos. Type all of the answers and see which one goes through all of those points. Okay? Number 7 is easy as well, except they're not giving it to you as a table. So you guys need to turn it into a table. This 3, that's your X. This is your Y. X, Y. X, Y, X, Y, X, Y. So when you make the table, X is 3, Y is 0. So 3, 0. 4, negative 2. Oops. Let me fix it. 4 is negative 2. 5 is negative 4. 6 is negative 6. And 7 is negative 8. So once you wrote down the table, then you can write these equations in Desmos, y equals, y equals, y equals, y equals, and see which one goes through all of those points. Okay? So when you're ready to do these, make sure that you press pause and that you go ahead and go do them. Okay, if you were not very sure about these, you don't have to put a of n. You put it as y equals negative 2x plus 6. Y equals 2x minus 6. Like that. Problem 8 and 9 are asking about slope. Number 8 is easy. We take the y's and subtract them. So 25 minus negative 3. And then take the x's and subtract those. Negative 5 minus 2. Okay, so you're going to do that by yourselves. I'm not going to do that. So you can pause the video and work on that one if you'd like. Okay, problem number 9. They're asking you for the slope. You cannot find slope from standard form. So if it says ax plus by equals c, you cannot find it from there. It has to be from y equals mx plus b. The slope is the m, which is next to the x, but it has to be in y equals. This is not in y equals, so we have to solve for y. So write it down. Solve for y. I need the y by itself. So 7x minus 3y equals 4. What do I move first? The x. The x needs to move away from the y. So this goes over here. Change the sign. Cambias el signo. So it becomes a minus 7x. Hey, can y'all be quiet and pay attention? Once you do that, what's the last step? If these two are multiplying, what do? Divide. So divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3. Y equals. So put it in decimals. 4 divided by negative 3 and negative 7 divided by negative 3. Four divided by negative 3. Hit the little fraction button. And negative 7 divided by negative 3. Hit the little fraction button. Okay? So I'm going to write it down. This was negative 4 over 3. And this was positive 7 over 3. Don't forget which one has the x, because that's the slope. The one that has the x is the slope. So it's a positive 7 over 3, right? So the answer would be B. Okay, at the top, you guys can do number 10 by yourself. It's asking for slope. So you're going to subtract the y's, subtract the x's, and divide. Just like we did problem number 8. Okay? Igualito. Number 11 is like what we did on Friday. 11, 12, and 13 are like what we did on Friday when I wasn't here. You're going to make a table. X, Y. Make a table. X equals 2 when Y equals 48. So 2 and 48. Right? Then it says, what is the value of X when Y is 168? So X and 168. What did we do on Friday? What do you do with these numbers? Cross, multiply, and divide. The little butterfly, remember the butterfly? Cross, multiply, and divide. That means I'm going to multiply these two numbers, and then at the end I'm going to divide by the other number. Right? So it's 168 times 2 divided by 48. That will give you your x. So I'm going to refresh your memory in Desmos. You're going to type 168 times 2. Okay, multiply those two. And then this, you're going to divide it by 48. So 336, too many threes, divided by 48. And that will give you your answer. Okay, so you guys are going to do the same thing for problem 12. Make the table. Okay, put the numbers in there that they gave you. It says y is 25, x is 125. So 125 is your x, y is 25. And then they want to know the y when x is 36. So x is 36, and this is my y. Cross multiply. Multiply those two. Divide by the other one. Okay? Problem number 13, same thing. Make a table. Pay attention. Make a table. It says, if a current of 14 amps produces 149 volts, so 14 amps gives me 490 volts, then how many volts, so I need the y, I don't know what it is, would a current of 1.5 amps produce? So 2.5 amps produce. So I got this table from what they gave me. So you guys need to multiply and divide. Okay, and that'll give you the number. So go ahead and pause the video. I want you to do number 11, 12, and 13 before we move on to 14 and 15. Okay, I think those were the hardest ones because the last two are super easy. You're going to put these in Desmos, right, the 2 points, and see which one of these goes through both points. Okay, which one goes through both points. Same thing for this one. You're going to type this point, see which one of these goes through that point. It's only one. And the slope of 7/3, you don't really have to worry about it unless you have two answers that go through that point. And then you would have to solve it like we solved number 9, where you move the x over and then divide by the y. Okay, so go ahead and try all of those. Turn it in Schoology, and let's see what grade you have. If it's a bad grade, you need to redo it. Okay? Just remember that these problems are going to be on the test tomorrow, and you cannot ask me any questions tomorrow. So if you have any questions, you need to ask them today, and you need to study for tomorrow's test because that's a major test grade.